Welcome back to Cashman's Garage. I'm Justin, and today we're starting part 3 of our 06 GTO LS2 head job. So I went ahead, I tightened up all of our head bolts, I suspended the engine because it looks like we're going to have to take off our subframe. We're going to have to drop it, leaving the engine suspended so we could get into our oil pan and get our lost bolt. If you've been following, I lost the bolt for our oil pickup tube. So we're going to be doing that shortly. In the meantime, I pulled our spark plugs and wires because unfortunately with the compression of the engine, I won't be able to get our rocker arms nice and tight without doing so. So we're going to tighten up the rocker arms and take off our motor mounts and then drop our subframe. And hopefully we can make some progress here today. So let's get started. Moving right along here. So as you can see, we had our engine suspended up from the top. So I came down here, threw a jack underneath this part of our subframe, and I started to remove our bolts. So we got 4 bolts, one in the corner over here, one right above me that I already removed, and then 2 off in the corner here above the suspension. I have 1 bolt left to go. When I start loosening that, this old guy's going to come down with it. So, notice here that we're going to have to pull off the bolts for our rack and pinion. We're probably going to leave this somewhat suspended. I may actually pull the steering gear out, and then we should be able to wiggle this steering rack enough to hopefully get our oil pan out. So I'm going to try that out and cross fingers. It's the first time I've had to pull an oil pan on one of these, so we'll see how it works out. Well, that was quite the mission, but it managed to work out. So we dropped the subframe, kind of moved some things around. All of our steering stuff had to be kind of unhooked. I managed to keep the system together, but it is, it's a little bit out of the way now. So I used a magnet and managed to drag the bolt into the middle sump here. And from there, I was able to fish it out with my hand. This is rather difficult, but we pulled it off. So we hooked up our new oil pump and reconnected our tube down here. So we are well on our way. I'm going to bring up the subframe, put all this back together, and then we're going to start working on the top of the engine here. Nothing to it. Well, I'm running out of time. We have a deadline to meet, so I wasn't able to record everything, but we threw the valve cover back on this side, as well as our coils, plugged in all our injectors, started working on our wiring harness. Got our spark plug wires hanging out here. On the other side, we're still waiting. The header's kind of in the way, so I figure once I get the oil pan nice and bolted back up, and this is actually pretty difficult as well. A lot of shaking and wiggling around, moving the cherry picker, and I got a jack underneath the bell housing on a piece of wood. So we're having a whole lot of fun with this. But there is an end in sight. We're going to keep on working here, and hopefully we're going to be freed up soon. We're moving right along now. We're coming down to the final reins here. All I got to hook up is the exhaust and finish up with some of the steering stuff down there. We reattached everything in the front here. That harmonic balancer bolt is a little obnoxious. They make a special tool to install it. There's a couple ways you can rig it and make it work without it. I did one of them. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that one. But we're pretty much back together here. I got to put in the oil dipstick tube. fill her up with oil, put some coolant in it, and hopefully we're going to be firing this thing up shortly. Here we have it, folks. She's ready to go. Gonna fill up the coolant, but we're gonna fire this baby up and see how she sounds. Oh yeah. That's what we want to hear. Fired right up. Sounds like a monster. Oh yeah. This is pre-tuned, so we're gonna get one more video here. Once this thing is tuned up and good to go, to really show what's up. Thanks for watching, guys.